Okay, like makeup tips. So I don't generally go out the house without at least a little bit of makeup on, and the biggest thing that I find, or the biggest annoyance I have with this temperature, as lovely as it is, and I like being warm, but the difficulty is when you do just turn into Sweaty Betty mess and your face is like dripping and you get sweat tash. It's really not attractive. So I just want to share some little tips that I've picked up. It was a bit of a trial and error when, from the time that I've been living in hot countries. But my first, let me just grab this shit, hang on. Alright, so my first beauty tip is your skin. If you're sweating a lot, you need to be careful about breaking out your spots and everything like that. Breaking out sounds so American. You've got to be careful you don't get a load of spots, because when you're sweating all the time, it's good to cleanse your skin to get all of the impurities out, but at the time sometimes it can irritate your skin as well when your skin is constantly wet, and it doesn't ever dry out, so you can sometimes run the risk of having bad skin, and especially when people try and cover up a lot of their temperature misfortune with a lot of makeup, that then can clog the pores, and then it's a bit, your skin's wrestling with itself. So what I'd say is every single morning, really, really exfoliate your face. So any sort of crap that you've picked up off the street, whether you've got like micro dust on your face, anything like that, really get a flannel and just plain water, and just make sure that your skin is just clear. Then what I do is I put extra virgin coconut oil on my skin. This might sound a bit illogical because I'm trying to battle the sweaty face, but trust me, it works. I put extra virgin coconut oil on, just very small amounts on my little finger, and I just dab it around, sensitive areas like my eyes. I dab it. I always get dry skin, sort of like in these parts of my nose whenever I wear makeup, especially powder. So I put them here. I tend to not put so much here because I don't have a problem with dry skin. Some people's T areas are not majorly problematic. Anywhere where you're going to have dry skin and where makeup is going to touch your face, coconut oil is absolutely fantastic for your hair, for your body, inside and out. You can eat it and drink it and whatever, but I love it on my skin, and I get that from the Canapé company, and it's brilliant. It's completely clear, it's really well processed, it's all natural. So I like putting something natural that's made in Ghana on my face. And that sort of, my face just sort of like, it really, really soaks it in, just like any moisturiser. It soaks it in, it's got no preservatives, and it doesn't make my skin oily. Once my skin has sort of soaked it in, probably after about 20 minutes, half an hour. You can leave it a bit longer, but I'm usually in a rush because I usually stay in bed too long. Then just take a tissue and just dab off the excess. It won't be a lot, but just so that you haven't got oil sat on the surface of your skin. And then I use a foundation. So I like to use the Bourjois, what's it called? Healthy Mix Serum. I like to use a really light foundation, and I do find that the Bourjois foundation is one of the lightest foundations you can wear that's not necessarily a tinted moisturiser. My experience with tinted moisturisers is that they move all over my skin. They're like almost a bit too slippery. I need something that will sort of stay on my face. So this is the lightest one that has more sticking power, and it comes in a whole range of shades. I use 53 light beige at the moment, especially after being in the UK. My tan sort of escaped a bit. It's meant to be a gel foundation, 16 hours radiance boosting, even revived complexion. I wouldn't argue with that. I think it's a good foundation for the pricing point. It's around, I think I got this for around £10 or £11, like £10.99 in the UK, which is about 50 CDs. And I normally stock up on all of these sorts of products before I come. But I know that Koala in Osu, if you're in Ghana watching this, have different foundations. I did use one of their foundations. It was around 50 CDs, and I think it's 30 CDs actually when I bought it. And that was alright. It was okay. It worked. It was a foundation, but I do prefer this one because I feel like it glides on a bit more. So once I've got foundation on, I made sure it's nice and even. I check in the mirror in daylight to try and do my makeup in, if it's light off, I try to go by the window with the mirror and make sure I've got some clean light to do my makeup. After that, I use powder. This is the reason why I used coconut oil in sort of the dry, vulnerable, dry areas of my skin first, because powder is really, it's great for hiding shine and for keeping, it says stay matte. I want to stay in a matte sort of way. I don't want to be sort of gloss shiny. But at the same time, if I hadn't have put the coconut oil on some of my weaker, more vulnerable areas, this stuff can really dry your skin out, especially with the amount that I put on. So I don't even use one of those little pads, because usually, and any girl who lives in Ghana or any hot country will back me up on this, whilst you're doing your makeup, 9 times out of 10 you're sweating anyway. So the more I use the pad thing that normally comes with these things, it sort of just soaks up, oh this sounds so wrong, it sort of soaks up the sweat onto the pad, and then it doesn't really, it doesn't behave well. So I use a brush instead. And that way you just get lots and lots of different particles. And what I do is I just absolutely cover my face, concentrating on the sweat tash, like this. And concentrating on areas that get very sweaty. My hairline normally does. I make sure there's a bit underneath, like that. I put it even on my eyelids. I actually cover my face until I occasionally, especially if it's very hot outside and I know I've got a long day ahead, I tend to look like something that's about to walk on stage at the theatre. That's the sort of heaviness of it. What will happen after that is, with this sort of thick matted look is you will still sweat. It doesn't automatically, like, you'd explode. Well, you probably wouldn't explode, but it would be very strange if you didn't sweat at all. But the way that you sweat is different. You get these microscopic little sweat beads instead of it sort of all coming together. And also, because of the coloration of your choice of product, you don't get that horrible shiny red colour on your face. If you're Caucasian, shiny red is a bit annoying. If you're black or have darker skin, it's just a lot of sweat, but at least you don't go shiny red, eh? So the coloration of my makeup starts me going that horrible shiny red colour, and the sweating, because you've got so much powder on there, comes through in a different way. It comes through in microscopic little beads of sweat, which can look a bit bizarre on, you still get your sweat tash, but it's different. Then what I do is throughout the day I'll keep sort of like either a handkerchief or a little bit of tissue in my bag, or you can go for a tea towel if you want, and then, or if you go to the bathroom, you just take some tissue paper and you just discreetly pat your sweat bits down. You don't rub it. If you rub it, it'll just rub your makeup all over the place. You literally you just dab your face with something that's porous that will just take in these sweat beads, and then you can still have great makeup in the afternoon after being out and about all day, whether you're driving and it's really warm, or you're in a taxi, or whether you've been sat in meetings somewhere, and you can really save the day with your face. And by the end of the day, the matte look has sort of worn off a little bit. You don't look like a dressed up doll as the day goes by. So I tend to book a lot of my activities later on in the afternoon, and also in the evening. You can take the powder with you. Just give yourself a touch up. Never put the foundation over the powder. That goes horribly wrong. And the next tip is to definitely use waterproof mascara. When I don't use waterproof mascara and I'm sweaty and I'm forgetting about it, and I'm wiping my face, especially eyebrow pencil, I can get to meeting somebody and they're just looking at me like, and then I go to the bathroom and then I've literally just got black like everywhere, and I'm like, hello. So the best thing to do is try and use a waterproof mascara. Apply it very lightly, because it is sometimes quite difficult to get off, and I don't use very harsh soaps on my face. Every time I do that, anything perfumed, I tend to use water. So if anything, to get waterproof mascara, I'll use baby wipes, because obviously they're quite mild. And in my next video I'm going to deal with this, which is, if you've seen any of my other videos where my hair is sort of like a bit more manageable, in my next set of videos I'm going to start dealing with hair. And it's how to deal with thick hair, any hair in hot climates. And and especially without electricity. I've got my light off hair survival video coming up, so don't judge me for this one. That was just all about the face, and as you can see, I'm not actually sweating. Very good. I'm not actually sweating, so I think I've succeeded in the facial beauty tips for hot countries. And if you have any questions, please comment below or send me a message. And try and share my videos to as many people as possible, because just because it's hot weather doesn't mean we all have to look like Sweaty Betty, nasty people. My final tip is do not wear anything when you're going to an important situation. Do not wear anything cotton. A lot of people say that if you wear cotton it's a bit lighter, but trust me, don't choose anything that is going to show sweat, because I've already mentioned that we do sweat in hot climates. It's completely normal. Like, people might think that this looks quite warm because obviously it's quite a synthetic material and everything, but look, the material does not show any sweat. Not down my back, not under my arms, not anywhere. So don't pick material that shows a sweat, because it doesn't matter how much powder you put on your face or how great your deodorant is. Sweating is a natural thing in hot countries, especially for people who have, were maybe not raised in a hot country and have chosen to live thereafter. So be careful what materials you choose. There is nothing worse than being in an outdoors restaurant maybe, and somebody who's new to Ghana stands up, and if it's a girl and she's worn some sort of like grey cotton shorts, and all you can see on her bum is sweat, like a sweat patch all up her. Yeah, it's not attractive. So pick stuff that doesn't cling to parts of the body that would sweat for a start. Stay away from silks and satins. That's just a no-go unless you're going to be in an air-conditioned place from start to finish. I would really stay clear, because you don't realise how sometimes you don't even realise how much you're sweating. So yeah, how not to be a sweaty Betty. Leave messages below, and please share if you can. If you find anything in this video relevant, please share. And my next step of videos is going to be how to take this frizzy mess and make it go all nice again. I am going to make another video about light off, so if you live in a country where you're affected by a lot of load shedding or electricity cuts, that will be really useful. It's sort of how to survive it.